Well, hello again. Okay then, what we're going to do today, we're going to go back to, and please let me apologise before I say what we're going to go back to. We're going to go back to, or after I say what we're going to go back to, we're going to go back to Manchester United again. Please forgive the number of videos for this team. They are my team. There will be a great sports content on this channel as previously discussed, and probably football will feature higher than anything else. Manchester United will again feature higher than most anything else to do with football, firstly because I'm a fan, and secondly because they're probably the biggest team in the UK, although I'm sure there's people out there that will disagree with that. I come at things from a slightly different angle in that I use this channel to knock more than to praise. There will be a lot of praise given on this channel to various people, various teams, various things and situations, but there'll be a lot more knocking because I think that's more... Well, I've already said people deserve to be knocked in my eyes on many occasions, and I'm happy to do it. But it creates an opinion or opinions, it creates comments, and that's what I'm looking for on this channel. Something where I can tell you what I think, you can give me a thumbs up and say, yeah, that's great, or no, thumbs down, that's awful. You can argue amongst yourselves. You won't get to argue with me because I won't be answering comments, although I will read everything. As I've said previously, if there's anything in the comments that I feel I need to address, I will do on here. On a recording. I'll shy away from nothing. I'm not someone that hides. I have an opinion and I stick by it. I don't give that opinion just to get people's backs up. I really don't. It's just what I'm thinking. And as I say, if people agree with it, then that's great. And if they don't, then that's fair enough. We all should be allowed an opinion. So after laying down the ground rules there, what I'm going to talk about now is a couple of things at Manchester United. One that I've touched on, one that I haven't, that I think really need addressing. Now, Erik ten Hag, who I rate highly, who I think is going to be fantastic for us as a club, he isn't going to see this, and if he does, he's not going to listen to me. He's a world-class coach. Didn't know much about him before, but been majorly impressed. But there's a couple of things that we're doing and that I'm seeing on a weekly basis, and I think to myself, why are we not addressing these things? Why are we not doing something about them? Maybe we are, and I'm not seeing it. But so there's two things. Firstly, this passing out from the back. What day am I on now? Thursday. Brentford nearly scored last night. They had a ricochet off. Was it Ivan Toney? That could have gone anywhere. David De Gea is absolutely abysmal with the ball at his feet. I heard Ten Hag say the other day something about balls maybe lighter or a different coloured ball. And look, let's not make excuses. You don't tend to normally, Eric, and I appreciate you for that. You know, I admire you for that. But David De Gea is awful with the ball at his feet. It's that simple. It's that simple. And if you're going to constantly play out from the back, he isn't the man for you. But if we take it back a year or two, I've been bleating about this to everyone that'll listen, and many that will listen to me, I think, are fed up with the sound of my voice and don't want to listen anymore, and I get that, about this playing out from the back. We've never been suited to it in managers before yourself, Eric. We've not been suited. What we had before, we had a goalkeeper who's awful with the ball at his feet. We had Luke Shaw to his left, who isn't brilliant with the ball at his feet. Inside Shaw, I think we had Maguire, who I think is very good with the ball at his feet. So we'll pass him on for a moment and we'll go to Lindelof, who again isn't brilliant with the ball at his feet, but isn't awful. We'll go outside Lindelof to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and we'll be talking, I think I mentioned earlier in the week, about Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Iggy, probably next week now. That is definitely going to cause some ructions, but they're my thoughts and my thoughts alone. Wan-Bissaka with the ball at his feet is absolutely shocking. He's probably one of the worst outfield players in Britain with the ball at his feet. His first touch isn't always great. His passing it's atrocious. It's really poor. So what you had was the ball's going back and two along the back line, and it more often than not breaks down. What you'll get sometimes when the ball comes from Shaw to Maguire, or Lindelof to Maguire, if the ball's hit Shaw, Maguire often can't get there because we all know he's got a massive lack of pace. If his first touch is poor and the men are on him, they take the ball off him and he can't get back. What we tend to do, and we've been doing it this year as well, we have 5 or 6 passes backwards. The opposing team knows that we're rubbish at the back and puts a press on. And what we tend to do, we tend to get caught with the ball 10 or 15 yards from our own goal, or less than that. Or what we tend to do, we rush a pass upfield, but only send it, say, 15, 20 yards, it doesn't make our man or it goes out of touch. And all of a sudden, even if it's in touch, they're 25 to 30 yards from our goal with the ball in their hands, ready to throw in from a touch, so they're all on us. What I would look at, I mean, it's better this year with Martinez and Varane. They're better with the ball at the feet, but that's only two of them. If they play with Wan-Bissaka outside them, then things get let down badly. If they play with Shaw on the other side, he's not as bad as Wan-Bissaka, but he's not always great. I think the best fullback with the ball at his feet is Malacia. I think he's pretty good. I think he's got a really good football brain, he's got a good touch, and he's very tenacious, and he's fast. If he loses the ball, he can get it back. I like Malacia. I seen the video highlight clips before we signed him, and I thought we were getting a wowzer of a fullback. I seen him make some great goals, some great assists. He's fell down on the assist department for us at the moment. I think he's assisted in nothing, maybe one goal, maybe none. That's been missing from his game. I think he probably just needs a bit more games and an arm around the back and a bit more confidence. I think he can do it all. I think he's a really good fullback. I think we need probably a couple more fullbacks, and I like him. I probably would have him over Shaw. Many wouldn't, but I would. And although I knocked Shaw earlier on this week, and I did, for the first 20 minutes last night till I went off injured, I've got to say he had a really, really good game. It was a different game though. We were all over Brentford and we were all on the front foot, whereas over the weekend we were very much on the back foot because Newcastle were all over us, and he didn't shine then, to say the least. But we've got better central defenders now, still not as great at full-back, and we've still got David De Gea there. So for my money, we just shouldn't be playing out at the back. I know, Eric, you want us to do it. I know that's how all the great teams play, and keeping the ball and building pressure from at the back, but we can't do it. If we're not letting goals in, we're inviting pressure. What about this for a tactic? And you'll say this is backwards. This is my idea. I used to hear I've seen a documentary about Jack Charlton, about playing the ball up the field and playing it in channels and having them run onto it. Why don't we put the ball on the floor for David De Gea and say, David, what I want you to do, I want you to kick the ball as far as you can from off the floor, or even get one of the central defenders if they've got a bigger kick on them to do it. I want you to pass halfway, hopefully 15, 20, 30 yards past halfway, kick it straight out of touch. Some may see that as negative. What I would say from that, based on what I've seen at United with this playing out from the back, is we're then 15, 20 yards inside their half. Yes, they've got the ball, but we can set ourselves then, and they're coming at us from 60 yards, 70 yards, 80 yards from our goal. It's much better than coming at us from 5 yards from our goal or 15 yards from our goal, which is what's happening. Why don't we try that? I think it would work. And although it may seem negative, it's not. I think it's a positive way to go. If we end up with a player, Wenger should be able to do it with his size and his head. Again, De Gea's kicking from the full pro isn't good enough. He should be aiming at Wenger's head and he should head his on. We've not got a player like that at the moment. Matt Hughes used to do it. Joe Jordan before him used to do it. We have people you could target with the ball from in our own box. We don't tend to have anybody now. But why can't we look at that? If we can't do that, bang it out to touch miles away. Stop this passing out from the back. We can't do it. We just can't do it. And I can't understand why a top team constantly plays this way when the team just cannot do it. And if there's other United fans out there that disagree with me, then fine. Comments down below, but I can't see how anybody can. We're absolutely rubbish. My heart's in my mouth every time I see it go along the back line and think, oh no, what's going to happen this time? And more often than not, something does happen. It's not resulted in many goals against yet, although it's probably 4 or 5 over the last 2 to 3 seasons, but it's going to keep happening. And why give away easy goals when there's ways and means of protecting those goals by not doing... I don't know. That's rant 1. Rant 2, and this is pretty quick because it's getting on a bit now. I mentioned this again earlier this week. Crossing. Our crossing from out wide is shocking. It really, really, really is shocking. I would have my full-backs and my wingers on the pitch, training after training, on their own for an hour every single day. Every day they come in for training, they do an extra hour. And maybe you could put some of these what are they, like mannequins or whatever they're called, that stand them in the penalty box and get our players from out wide, from the byline, from 5 yards from the byline, 10 yards from the byline, but from the touch side, trying to hit them on the head, trying to put the ball on their heads, because our crossing from out wide is shocking. It's shocking. We score no goals from corners, we score no goals from crosses. I think I mentioned in an early video, I think Weghorst went off about 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. Can't remember who played. Rashford was moved to the middle. He got one of his only headers for us. He got a header within 3-4 minutes. We hit him bang on the head, cracking header in. I think he got an header the following week as well. He doesn't normally get headers, but it was a cracking ball from out wide. The service normally is shocking. As I said the other week, we don't have many players go to the byline. We don't have many players that beat a man and look up and across it straight away. That's where young Palestri could be good. He could come really good, but we're not giving him any time at all. You know, he looks to beat a man, get a crossing. I think somebody mentioned the other week, it might have been Scholes or somebody, said the forwards love that because they're expecting a cross all the time. Whereas with our guys, with Sancho, Anthony in particular, and a couple others outside, they just want to take touches, feint across and not cross. Then you've got Wan-Bissaka who can't hit a bando with a banjo, and you've got Luke Shaw who normally crosses, as I said earlier in the week, and he tends to hit the legs of the guy that's the defender 3 yards in front of him. You know, we don't get crosses in the box on people's heads. We don't get crosses in the box in front of people for them to run onto and score. That's where Ronaldo got let down before he left. That's the only thing I think we failed on. We don't set up enough from out wide, you know, and we need to do that. We've got some cracking wingers there with loads of skill, you know, but we're just not doing it. Rant over. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, comment. That's what the comments are there for. That's just my opinion. Mine and mine alone.